The state's Environmental Protection Agency will tour the West Barnstable shooting range this week. The Barnstable Police Department will be getting some much-needed help from 5 separate grants. We have details on each of those, plus find out what changes are coming to the transfer station next year. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Tuesday, December 2nd, 2014. I'm Sarah Mantle. The Massachusetts Environmental Protection Agency is paying a visit to Barnstable this week. The town has filed an environmental notification form with the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs to use a 16.3-acre parcel of land as the shooting range. The town wants to move the conservation restriction on that parcel to 17 acres on Breeds Hill. MEPA officials will be in town Thursday morning for a briefing, followed by a site visit. 5 separate grants intended to help the Barnstable Police Department will go before Town Council for approval this week. Police Chief Paul McDonald says the grants total $410,000.
The first grant coming forward is $9,968. It's the Underage Alcohol Enforcement Grant, and it's from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, Highway Safety Division. This grant is the money we use to conduct the sting operations, the compliance checks, the potty patrols, and we monitor the liquor store activity, particularly during the summer months. As you know, we meet with all the license holders just prior to the busy season. They come in, we tell them what they can expect from us and what we expect from them, and we go over the sting operations, the compliance checks, and what we're going to do to monitor their activities. So we're all operating on the same page, and this is the money that we use to fund those operations.
McDonald says another grant for $187,000 will pay for training emergency medical dispatchers.
And what we do, we are the primary PSAP for the town of Barnstable. All 911 calls for police, fire, and rescue come into our station, and then we transfer them to the appropriate agency. But because of that, we are required to all kinds of training for the police officers. They have to be emergency medical dispatch training. They have to receive specialized training on the 911 equipment, and then they have to have the 911 training itself, which is 40 hours just in that training. We have approximately 75 officers that are fully trained, but even once you are trained, there's another 16-hour continuing education for the 911 training.
McDonald says the training will also ensure dispatchers are ready to handle all calls coming in, even emergency medical calls.
If a call comes in, if somebody falls, someone's have a heart attack, the police officer is required to keep that person on the line, and if it was somebody else, they will actually walk that person through the steps. And if you remember last Christmas Day, a young child was choking to death, and the dispatcher actually walked the father through the process of dislodging what was stuck and actually saved the child's life. So it's right there while they were on the phone, they could actually hear the child start to breathe again. So that was a great day.
McDonald says a $5,000 grant from the Executive Office of Public Safety will pay for pedestrian and bicycle safety enforcement.
This basically is for the education of the pedestrian, the bicycle, the scooter riders, and the motorists. This will be concentrated around Main Street and the Cape Cod Mall. We've had a couple of fatal accidents to the rear of the Cape Cod Mall on Route 20 by Fresh Hills and Harriman Road. And then we have the Sturgis School crossing right there in the middle of Main Street. So basically, this will be used most for education and some enforcement.
McDonald says another grant for $177,000 will pay for staffing at a dispatch center.
This is the Department supporting a central grant for the 911 PSAP Center. This will go directly towards funding the personnel who works at the 911 system. This is paid for 25-cent surcharge on everyone's phone bill that funds the 911. So this will all go to actually fund the officers at the dispatch center.
The final grant going before Town Council for approval this Thursday is a $32,000 grant to pay for Narcan training. Town Council meets this Thursday night in the Town Hall hearing room at 7. Well, some changes are coming to the transfer station next year. A Barnstable This Morning host Sarah Colvin gets details about the coming changes from DPW Director Dan Santos. We share a portion of that interview with you now.
We start by talking about changes at the transfer station. I know we touched on this a little bit last week, but I feel like it's worth reiterating so that our viewers and the public can really understand what is going to be new and different at the transfer station as of the first of the year.
Okay, sure. And there's lots of things, and I think it's all positive mostly for the user. And so the first thing is starting January 1st, we will be going to single stream recycling. And what that means is all the recyclables that we collect there will all go in one bin. So you don't have to separate out your plastic and glass and tin and paper any longer. You can just bring it in one bin and it goes into one bin. So that should save folks the time of separation at home and also having to have separate bins. And so generally where that's been employed in other communities, it's been met with glee.
Exactly, and I think it's being met with glee here as well. And so paper too, but not Dan corrugated cardboard, correct? That's still
we want to, and that might take some time to get folks used to that. But we want to separate out the corrugated cardboard because that has pretty good value, and we could get some revenue from that.
Indeed,
and what drives this is our new contract with New Bedford Waste Services, which begins on January 1st, and they have the facilities that can accommodate single-stream recycling. Our previous vendors did not. So, and this doesn't cost us any more either to do this.
Indeed. However, the transfer station sticker will be a little bit more expensive starting January 1st. Tell me a little bit about that, but it's going to be good for a little bit longer, at least this first time around.
Yes. There's a couple of things that are acting here, and that is the cost of our disposal of municipal solid waste. That's the trash that people bring there and throw in the compactors. That has risen from what effectively we were paying was about $18 a ton. It's going up to $67 a ton. So it's an enormous jump. So that's going to have to be reflected in the sticker price. But the other thing we need to do is we want to align the stickers with the fiscal year. The town's fiscal year begins on July 1st and ends on June 30th, but stickers sales have been on the calendar year. What happens is you have income across 2 fiscal years, so we want to align the sticker with the fiscal year. So this year, when you buy a sticker on January 1st, it's going to be good for 18 months through June 30th of 2016. And the cost of that sticker is going to be $210, which in essence is less than you paid this year for 12 months. If you spread it out, you divide it by the 18.
Indeed.
It's less. And you might say, well, if the price is going up, why is it affecting less? The reason is that we're using cash reserves, which we've built up over some years, to mitigate that increase in the waste price, disposal price. And that's an appropriate use of reserves. And then starting on July 1st, 16, I don't know what the price will be then, but it would be somewhere in that 210 or plus for 1 year. So we're realigning the fiscal year revenue stream, and we're getting folks used to the higher cost of waste disposal. So those are the major things going on there. As we've talked about before, internally we're looking at pay-as-you-throw as an option. As that develops, we'll let people know whether or not it's something that the Department of Public Works is going to recommend or bring to the manager for further discussion. But right now, we're in the midst of that.
Sure, and I think one more thing worth mentioning about the transfer station is that if you just want to recycle, it will remain free. However, you will need a sticker for that recycling for a couple of different reasons.
Yes, and so folks that are used to bringing recycling in there and not having a sticker, just for, there'll be a transition time where we'll ask that you stop at the office and sign up for a free sticker. And what this ensures is that primarily town of Barnstable residents are using the facility.
And those recycling stickers will be available the 1st of January. You can purchase them through the mail or at the transfer station office. Tonight, the Conservation Commission meets at 6:30 in the Town Hall hearing room. We'll be sure to tune in to our hour-long news program Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 7 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we will chat with Elizabeth Werfbane, Executive Director of the Hyannis Main Street Business Improvement District, about this weekend's Christmas stroll. We'll have our final interview with State Representative Cleon Turner before his retirement at the end of this year. Plus, we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mantle.